Hello and welcome to the Real Estate Experience podcast. Hello and welcome to the Real Estate Experience. I'm Ben Crompton. You might know me from my other podcast, Two Fat Brokers. And today we are very lucky to have Miss Safinaz. She's the CEO of Tafweed Legal Consultancy, and she will be helping us with some legal questions about Abu Dhabi landlord and tenant law. Now, whenever I have anyone asking me for a legal advisor, I always refer Miss Safinaz's company. For me, they're the best in the business, so we're very lucky to have her today. Welcome, Miss Safinaz.
Welcome, Mr. Ben. Thank you for this introduction. I am very happy to be with you today as well. Thank you.
My pleasure. Sorry, it was a very long introduction, so we'll get straight into the questions. So, can a tenant get kicked out overnight?
Actually, no. A tenant cannot be kicked out overnight in Abu Dhabi. Eviction requires a specific legal grounds and proper notice. Ground for eviction include, for example, non-payment of the rent after you give him a proper legal notice, as well unauthorized subletting of the property, as well if you use the property for illegal purposes, or the owner of the property want to redevelop it.
So if the owner wanted to redevelop it, what kind of notice would he have to give the tenant to ask them to leave?
They have to give him a 2 months notice if he want to get him out, and already the contract is about to end. For residential property, he have to give him 2 months notice, and for other purposes, it's 3 months notice.
Okay. So if you were in a building and the landlord wanted to redevelop the whole building, they would have to give you 3 months notice.
For residential, yes, 2 months, and for other purposes, 3 months.
Oh,
yes.
Like commercial.
Yeah, commercial.
Okay. All right. Great. So if you're a landlord and your tenant disappears in the middle of the tenancy, can you just use your spare set of keys, go open the property and take it back?
No, you can't. But,
what do
you
to
can't
do?
simply to take the key back of a tenant after he disappeared. The landlord must follow a certain legal procedures to terminate the lease and to take his key back. This one including to file a case in the Rental Dispute Settlement Committee. As well, he has to prove the abandonment of the property, and as well obtaining the order, the court order to legally regain the possession of his property. This is as well to protect your rights and as well to protect the tenant rights. So this procedures is helpful for both of you. If you face something like this, you cannot just go and take the key, or some people think that they can just open the door and go inside, but if the tenant come back and you don't know, maybe he will come back and maybe he suffers something or something happened.
A long holiday. Yeah.
Yes, a long holiday or something like this. If you face him, but he can file a case against you. He may say that he leave expensive things in his apartment or something like this. So it's not legal, and as well, it's not good for you in the future. So we face cases like this. The tenant come after 1 year. No, I leave expensive things there. I want to file a case or something like this, and already the landlord get nothing from the apartment or the property. There is nothing inside, but they just say something like this in some cases to just take compensation or just to punish him that he broke the apartment or something like this.
And then if the tenant did abandon the property, how long do you think it would take for the landlord to get the property back usually? If they follow all the procedures.
Usually in UAE the law is very fast, so it usually, especially rental cases, do not take lots of time. So maybe 1 month, 2 months is maximum, you will get your property back. Yeah, sure, 100%. Especially there is no defense from the other side. What make it more longer that you submit a legal memo and the other party submit his defense as well. So maybe it take 2 to 3 sessions or something like this in the cases. But if the tenant is not already there, no one will defend, you know. So it's not usually the procedures in UAE is very fast and simple. You can do it yourself as well.
Is that something I think people worry about, is that the procedures are very slow and long? But I think that was a long time ago. Now it's much quicker.
Much quicker. And every day we have a development in the laws. This updates and this development of laws, the main goal of it, we see this in the business. Most of this updates and most of this new regulations is only to make it faster and more accurate and sound. So if we face it's complicated case, it's very complicated, it maybe take 3 months.
Really?
Yeah.
And so I think so that's a misconception, and something that we were talking about before this, again, like another misconception that I think expatriates have, is that the law favors UAE nationals or favors landlords against expatriates or tenants, but that isn't the case.
No.
The law is like very even-handed.
Yeah, 100%. I usually told our clients when they come for consultation, don't worry. You know, the law is applicable for all. It's wallahi, we see this ourselves. Whatever is not a subject, okay? You have to have the right, you have your sound and accurate evidences for your right, just go for the court and you will take your right. Don't worry about procedures. Don't worry that you are not, you are not local adult, you are not nothing. Don't think about this totally. Just go for your rights and you will take your rights if you have the right. And if you're not, you will not take anything. That's it, simply. It's very simple.
And even, and we've discussed this, you've had cases against very senior people in government, very senior, whether they be local or from wherever. And even those people, they are, subject to the law exactly the same as everybody else.
Same.
Yeah.
Same. I'm in this 15 years now. Same, nothing.
Yeah.
Wallahi, I can swear on this, And you can see, if you go for the court and you see the decisions, you can see. You can see this, it's not a thing that I imagine or something I say and there is no evidence for it. No, you can go to the court yourself and you can ask people who goes to the court and you will find what I'm telling you yourself.
Great. Okay. So our next question, what happens if the landlord refuses to register the contract as a tawthiq in Dari? Sometimes we have cases of renewal, maybe the landlord has tried to evict the tenant and he hasn't given the right notice or tries to raise the rent above 5%. Tenants are worried, what if he doesn't register my tawthiq? What happens then?
It's mandatory to have tawthiq, okay? But some cases, the landlord, for some reasons, refuses to register. And this effect that the contract may be considered legally invalid and making it challenging to enforce eviction or rent claims through legal channels. The tenant may face as well difficulties obtaining essential services like water and electricity connection without a registered contract. So you have to obligate him to register the contract. And lots of people comes to us, they face problems, okay? With the landlord, they face problems and they want just to file the case in the court. They cannot file the case in the court because they have not a registered contract. So you have to take a register contract, and if he refuses, you have to leave this property and to do anything just to take your rights. I advise everyone, please do not go for apartment without a registered contract, because you are looking like that you does not want your rights in the future. If something happen, you does not want your rights, and you cannot defend yourself.
Well, what happens in the situation? Let's say, so you're in a unit and you have Tawthiq, and it comes to renewal, and the landlord says, "I want 20% increase in the rent," and you say, "No, it's not happening." And then you stay, and the landlord says, "Well, okay, I'm not going to give you your Tawthiq for the next year." What happens then? Because the landlord wants you to leave, like he wants you out of his property, and you don't want to leave. So is there a way that you can apply to the court to get a Tawthiq, or make him give you a Tawthiq in some other way?
Yes, you can file a case against him to get this Tawthiq.
Okay.
Yes, but as well, he has no right to get 20% increase for one time. It's only 5%.
Yeah.
But usually, the landlord doing something, if you don't want to the increase, I will you have to leave the property, and this happens. They give the 2 months notice, and that's it. If you agree with my conditions, okay. If not, you have to leave the apartment.
Yeah.
But if he does not give this 2 months notice, you can obligate him to make the Tawthiq and file a case against him. It's very simply.
Okay. So you file a case, and if you win the case, the court will issue a Tawthiq in your name.
The court will force him to issue the Tawthiq, yes.
They'll force him to issue it. Okay. Because a lot of people need a Tawthiq to sponsor their wives and children, for school, for housemates.
It's drama that you don't have Tawthiq. It's not a small issue.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's good to know. If you rent a property which doesn't have Tawthiq, let's say maybe the landlord said, yeah, I've got Tawthiq, why don't you come and give me the rent and move in, and then you find out it doesn't have Tawthiq, what can you do then?
As I said, it's not legal to have a property without Tawthiq.
But they exist.
But you have to insist on the landlord to make the registration as its legal requirement. Be aware as well that without Tawthiq, you might face issues with utility connections like water, electricity, internet. Understand that you may lack legal protection. As I told you, if you don't have Tawthiq, you have no legal protection. I cannot go for the court and file a case, okay? In case of dispute with the landlord, you can report the non-compliance to the relevant authorities, that he doesn't want to make Tawthiq, and maybe file a case against him to force him to make Tawthiq. But never to stay in apartment or in a property and give checks or blah, blah, blah without Tawthiq.
Yeah.
I never advise something like this.
Yeah, of course. But sometimes you think they have Tawthiq and they don't. So in that case, you should file a case against the landlord to give you Tawthiq, but maybe he doesn't have it. Like, when they split up the villas.
You have to ask before. You have to be.
But how can you know before?
You have to be aware. You never go to an apartment or a villa without seeing it. If you go there and find these partitions and find this drama, you know that he cannot give you Tawthiq. You know before. So I don't think that a tenant does not know. No, he knows. And he accepted it. So he make problems later.
Yeah.
But it's obvious.
It can work in the tenant's favor, right? So, for example, let's say you don't have a Tawthiq and you pay maybe in 4 checks. You're renting 4 checks, and so your second and third and fourth check, they bounce, right? But because there's no Tawthiq, your landlord, can he open a case against you because he doesn't have Tawthiq either? Or is a separate case for a bounce check?
Separate case? No, he cannot file a tenant case as well.
He can't file a tenant case.
It's both of you. You cannot file, and he as well cannot file. But he can go for the bounce check.
Yeah, okay.
It's simply.
That's a normal
And
case.
after that, some cases comes like this, that he already submitted the pawn's case to the court, and they have procedures against the tenant. So in this case, you have to tell the court that this pawn's case is check is regarding a tenant contract, even if it's not a legal one. And most of times the court consider this into consideration. And again and again and again, don't go for apartment, don't go for property without tawseeq.
True.
Please.
True. Fair enough. What's the fastest way to legally to evict a tenant who stopped paying rent?
Another issue. Some landlord faces actually these issues that just the tenant is there, what they will do. Some people think to cut electricity and cut internet or something like this, and I usually say it's illegal. Just go for the legal way. If this happens, the fastest legal way is typically to issue a formal, first of all, to issue a formal written notice to a tenant, usually giving them 25 days for residential purpose property and 30 days if a commercial to pay the overdue rent. Second, if they fail to pay after this notice, the landlord can file a case with the rental dispute settlement committee. After getting certificate from the court, there is no deposit. The committee will review the case, and if valid, they will issue that you can evict the apartment or the property.
How long does that take normally?
25 days for the legal warning, maybe 2 months as well. Maybe 2 months.
2 months.
Yeah. And he will be obligated to pay the rent, by the way.
Yeah.
If he stay there for 2 months, this 2 months of the case or 3 months of the case, he has to pay as well this amounts.
Okay.
So you will not lose anything. Yeah.
And then the police will go to the apartment and tell him to leave with all of his stuff. How does it work?
It's not going for this for the first time. This is a steps. If he does not leave, there is execution judge will go there and will notify them to leave. And if after little while, if he does not respond to anyone, yes, maybe a force can force him. A police enforcement can force him to leave the apartment. Yes. But it not happens from the first time. It takes time.
First time they just ask him to leave.
Yeah.
If he doesn't, it can be
friendly and kindly, please leave. And usually friendly and kindly. Even if the police involved in the issue, it will be nicely and kindly as well. Okay. But he has to leave because he does not pay the rent, and the other part is not interested. Does not invest in this. So.
Okay, sounds good. If the tenant damages the apartment, can the police get involved, or is it just like a civil case?
Generally, if a tenant damages something in the apartment beyond normal wear and tear, it is considered a civil case. And the landlord will typically seek compensation. If something happens in the apartment, it's only a civil case, and you can go for court and ask for compensation for this damages. And he can ask for this compensation as well through the rental dispute settlement committee or civil court. However, if the damage is, for example, intentional, if he do this damages intentional or malicious or involves criminal acts like, for example, vandalism, in such cases the police can get involved, and it could be lead to criminal case. This is the only circumstances that maybe the police will involve in this. But for example, something damage, it's normal, happens usually from the usage or something like this, you can ask for compensation.
Okay. But if he sets fire to the house, then maybe the police.
Yes, if he do this intentionally,
Yeah.
you know, if he do something vandalism or something just malicious, you know, if he doing something like this, he feel anger from the landlord, and he doing something like this. Yes, the police, maybe you can call the police, and the police can be involved to prevent this.
Okay. All right. That makes sense. Thanks. Obviously now, so with ADGM, we have a different, like, I guess, legal framework. Are there big differences in the landlord and tenant law between the ADGM and the ADM?
Yes, there is major differences, especially since ADGM expanded its jurisdiction to Areem Island from 2025.
Yeah.
ADGM operates under own distinct common law legal framework inspired by English law.
Sounds great.
ADM key differences include ADGM having its own property regulations, notice periods, and dispute resolution mechanisms. New renew leases under ADGM jurisdiction must register via Access RP as well. ADM operates under a civil law framework. توثيق contracts issued under ADM before 2025 generally remain valid.
So civil law is based on French law, right? And Egyptian.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. So French versus English.
It's all Arabic law comes from each other, you know.
Yeah.
يعني
Yeah, I mean, I think it was all based in Egypt, because I think when Napoleon invaded Egypt, he kind of like brought civil law, and a lot of legal scholars around the Middle East, modern ones at least, came from Egypt, I think. But anyway, that's a boring history lesson. Okay, great. Are WhatsApp messages or emails legally valid proof of lease terms and disputes in court?
Sure. 100%. In all kind of cases, lots of people ask us WhatsApp messages or emails.
What about voice notes?
Yes, voice notes as well.
How can you do that?
I'll tell you. You can just go for any authorized translation office and write it down. Okay. And give the stamp of the legal office. Okay. Legal translation office, yes. But phone calls, it's illegal. Some people, they called us, we record for him phone call. No, please, this is another criminal issue. Not to prove something, to go to jail. It's illegal totally.
And videos as well, presumably.
I'll tell you something. Videos, if it's in your villa, so if it's already obvious for
security
both
cameras.
or security cameras, it's valid, no problem. But if the other part does not know that you taking video for him, you just record secretly something like this. You cannot do something like this. But if you enter a place and there is a signs that this place is monitored by cameras or something like this, yes, you can take this as videos as well.
Okay, but also if you're recording someone with their permission, like we're doing now, for example, you commit a crime now, we can use this evidence against you.
No, I know that you are recording.
Okay, so that's like giving your permission, basically.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
If I know that this place is under monitoring, or you take my previous permission, for example, we can go for a Zoom meeting. We will tell all the parties that this meeting is recorded. No one can file a case against us. We usually making something like this to review it again, to write down what we are missed already. The issue is not to record. The issue, I know that you are recorded or not. You making this under my permission, or you just let me do lots of things and you just make it hidely, This is
secret recording.
Secretly. So it's not...
It's about permission.
Yeah, without permission. It's not accepted at all.
Okay, fair enough. If a tenant and landlord wants to open a case against the other party in the rent tribunal, how much will it cost? Is it they need to pay some percentage of the lease amount into court?
Yes, in some cases, for example, you will file a case in the court. It's not too much money you have to pay, but it's just a percentages of the contract or for the total claimed amount. And the good news that if you won the case, this amount is refundable to you. The other party will pay it for you. And if you lose the case, you will lose this one. So every time I told people, if you will file a case, don't worry. Okay, if you have the right, this amount is refundable for you. So whatever you paid, even big, even small, it's not a big deal because you will refund this amounts.
So how much is it?
5% of the total claimed amount in some cases, and just advertising something like this 300, 200, 500, something like this. It's not a big amount.
Okay, so just 5% of what you're claiming.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's not too bad. So if the seller doesn't pay their service charges, can the owners association stop the tenants from using the facilities like the pool and gym and things like that?
No, they cannot do something like this because using these utilities is part of the tenant contract. So if the landlord does not pay this amount, they have to file a case against him to get this amount, but they have no right to cut the utilities from the tenant. He is not responsible for this. So this issue or their problem is not with the tenant, is with the landlord. So they have to file a case against him. But cutting these utilities against the tenant is illegal totally. And it's part as well from his contract. He has to use it. Yani when I for example, the pool, for the gym or something like this, it's part of my contract. I rent this apartment with these issues. I have to use these issues. And as well, the tenant can ask compensation from the landlord. If he affects his rights, he has to file a case against him as well to take compensation. But you cannot just go for the tenant and cut everything from him. He is not part of this. But most of people doing something like this to make fight with the landlord and tenant, or to push the landlord to pay. Because if they push and the tenant as well push the landlord, he may pay.
Yeah.
But if he will not pay, he will not pay. Yani no need to harm two parts in this.
Yeah.
That's it simply. Yeah.
I saw in the law 3 of 2015 that owners associations can sell the property of someone who doesn't pay their service charges for a long time. Have you ever seen that happen?
Rarely, wallahi. Yeah. I never faced something like this.
Sometimes we find landlords, they haven't paid their service charges for 10, 11 years. They owe hundreds of thousands, But anyway, I guess eventually they have to pay, right? Because they can't sell unless they pay.
Anyway, you can't sell something like this.
Yeah.
There is authorities here in UAE. So you have to take all the legal action and the procedures to sell or to buy something.
Yeah.
So you can just, you have, he owe you, مثلا, for example, 800,000 dirhams. So you just go and take his property and sell it. It's not going like this. Yeah, never. I never see something like this, but it happens. Yani, I face some cases. For example, the landlord does not pay for 10 years. I face something like this, and they just go to file a cases against him. But it comes under execution department. Maybe one of the procedures that is taken against him is to block his assets. Okay, and after blocking his assets, if he has trade license, if he has assets, if he has cars or something like this, yes, it will be blocked. And if he is not respond, yes, maybe this property is يعني selling, but under the court. He cannot go himself to sell it, something like this.
It'll be auctioned.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right. Okay, that ends part 1 of our 3-part series with Miss Safinaz. So that was the landlord and tenant. Stay tuned because we'll be doing another 2 parts, one on sales and one on regulation. So thank you very much, Miss Safinaz.
Thank you,
We'll
Mr.
see you
Ben.
on the next episode.
Sure.
Bye-bye.
See you again.